In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the quadratic formula. This should be a review for most of you guys, hopefully. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Like I said, you will be given the quadratic formula on the test. This is this part of your equation, the x minus blah, 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 blah. You just need to know how to use it. So first, we need to determine what our a, b, and c are. So your a is the number in front of the x squared, whatever it is. If it's not there, it's an understood 1. Your b is the number in front of the x. C is the number that stands alone. So all you're going to do is just put these things into our equation. So x equals minus, when you put it in parentheses, b plus or minus b squared, so negative 2 squared, minus 4 times 1 is a, times c is negative 15. It's all still in square root. So I have b squared minus 4ac. My b is negative 2, a is 1, c is negative 15. All of that divided by 2 times a is 1, so 2 times 1. Now it's just a matter of simplifying. Minus a negative makes it a positive, so x equals 2 plus or minus negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times negative 15 is plus 60. Divided by 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So we have x equals 2 plus or minus square root of 64 divided by 2. Now we know the square root of 64 is 8, hopefully. So it equals, x equals 2 plus or minus 8 divided by 2. Now we have the two different cases with this plus or minus. Notice I'm saying plus or minus. So we could have x equal 2 plus 8 divided by 2, or we could have 2 minus 8 divided by 2. 2 plus 8 is 10 divided by 2, so I have 1 is 5. 2 minus 8 is negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, and the other is negative 3. 1 and 2 solutions since I'm raised it to the second power. This is 26 on your review. So first thing that we need to do is we're still solving by quadratic formula, so we're still going to use our big long guy. Alright, but now I notice that it's equal to 3, but it needs to be equal to 0, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. There's no like terms over here, so the 3 is going to kind of stand alone. So we have negative w squared plus 5w minus 3 equals 0. Now I have an a and a b and a c that I can find. My a is going to be negative 1, b is 5, c is negative 3. So all I'm going to do is plug it into my formula. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus square root of 5 squared minus 4 times a is negative 1 times c is negative 3. All of that over 2 times negative 1, which is a. So we're left with negative 5 plus or minus 5 squared is 25. Negative 4 times negative 1 is a positive 4 times the negative 3 is negative 12. All of that over negative 2. The only thing we have left to do is 25 minus 12, so x equals negative 5 plus or minus square root of 13 over negative 2. That's as far as we can go, because we do not know the square root of 13. So that's your answer. Okay, here's 28 for this one. Once again, we're doing this quadratic formula still. That's what our directions are asking us in the problem. But we need it to be equal to 0. I'm just going to take all this stuff, move it to the other side. So I need to subtract 6t, and I need to subtract 8. So minus 6t minus 8. 4 and 8 are like terms. T squared and 6t are not. So I can only combine the 4 and 8. These two will go to 0. So t squared minus 6t minus 12 equals 0. Now I have an a, a b, and a c. My a is the understood 1 in front of the t squared, b is negative 6, and c is 12. Putting it into the equation, x equals minus negative b plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 12, still all under the square root, divided by 2 times 1, which is a. Minus a negative 6 will make it 6 plus or minus square root of negative 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 12 is plus 48. All of that divided by 2. So we have x equals 6 plus or minus square root of 84 divided by 2. Don't know the square root of 84, so that's as far as we're going to go for it for now. Okay, the last one that I'm going to do is not on your review, but there is a problem very similar to it on your test. So give this a shot before you actually watch the solution. Go ahead and pause the video to do that. So with this, I noticed that it needs to be equal to 0. So add 10 to both sides. So I'll have negative 2n squared minus 10n plus 10 equals 0. I have an a, b, and a c. So I'll have x equals negative 10 plus or minus square root of negative 10 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times 10. All of that over 2 times a, which is negative 2. So x equals negative 10 makes it 10, plus or minus negative 10 squared is 100. Negative 4 times negative 2 is 8, times 10 is 80. So I have plus 80, all divided by negative 4. I can combine these two. So we have 10 plus or minus the square root of 180 divided by negative 4. I don't know the square root of 180. 13 is 169, so somewhere between 13 and 14, but I don't know the exact number, so I'm just going to leave it just like that. That's your answer.